All right. So yeah, I think what we could do next, Rob, if you want to just kind of maybe say a little bit about your background too. That way people can have an idea of like where you came from, how you got to this point of being confident on camera, helping other people with it. And then from there we can kind of get into like the info.
Sure.
And
Yeah. That's all right.
I was gonna say, I think I can do this. So there we go. Then we can
Oh,
see
there
you.
we go. Presenter view. Okay. So, hi, my name is Rob, and I've been doing video now for about 11 years. I started in 2014, and my confidence on camera journey started not too long ago, probably 2-ish years ago, because I liked being on the other end of the camera. I liked being the one that was out of the spotlight. And I enjoyed interviewing people on this side, and also was like, yeah, I'm perfectly comfortable behind the camera here. But then a mentor said to me once, he said, "Hey, so why won't you put yourself on camera?" And I was giving every excuse in the book. I was saying, well, no one wants to hear what I have to say. I hate the way I look and sound. I have a pimple on my forehead. I don't want to be in front of the camera. So the mentor said, "So let me get this straight. So you have a wealth of knowledge up here that you are choosing to not share with somebody who desperately needs to hear it in order to advance to the next level because you have a pimple on your forehead."
Yeah.
It was harsh, but true. So I was like, yeah, no, I see your point. I see your point. So I started doing what every entrepreneur does, basically binge watching YouTube a lot. How do I put myself in front of the camera and be confident doing it? And I got into analysis of the paralysis, or paralysis of the analysis, swap it. And eventually, I just didn't do anything for a bit. And then finally, I put a camera on me. And what actually helped me out, there's a school course on this platform called Remote Closing Academy. It used to be on Kajabi. They moved it over to school. And that actually is the thing that got me started on the confidence journey, because we had to do mock calls. And boy, did I hate doing mock calls I was training to be a sales closer, which, by the way, that I never wound up actually being a sales closer. I just used the education from that in my own business. But training for it, I said, you know what? I spent a ton of money on this course. I'm going to do one call every hour for 5 hours a day, every day for 2 months straight. And the first one was absolutely horrific. I hated everything about it. I was like, "Oh, I sound like that," or, "Oh, man, I can't believe that, the camera mirrors you." But it's weird. It mirrors you when you're looking at it, but then when you're watching it, it's the other way. So when you look
Yeah.
at your right? You look at yourself in the mirror, and that's just what you see all the time, but then you see yourself on video and, "Wait, my hair actually goes that way? Well, that's weird." You know? So ultimately, after those 2 months, I felt like I could conquer the world. I felt like, "Oh, yeah, I can get on camera with anybody and just talk to anybody." So then I was like, "Okay, well, if I can do it on Zoom, then I can probably do it with just a camera, with just myself." But it's actually a different mindset, because now you're forcing yourself to speak to an inanimate object without someone on the other end,
Yeah.
and there's no energy to feed off of. So ultimately, over the course of, I guess, 3-ish years, because I started that around year 8. So 3-ish years, I developed a system where I'm like, okay, this is where the fear is. This is where the fear is rooted. This is how to overcome it. And honestly, it just takes practice. And inside of my confidence on camera, of course, inside my community, I'm wondering what the feedback is going to be for the first few videos, because it literally starts with like, yeah, here are all the tools, but it's just practice. It's just doing it again and again and again and again. And eventually you're able to just pull out your phone and be like, "Hey guys, what's up? I have this thought," you know,
Yeah.
basically like
100%.
D on his morning walks every single day. Now that takes some confidence to be able to do that. just on a city street and not care what people think. Because I'm sure that people probably look over at you as your phone right here as you're walking by.
Oh, bro, it depends on what country I'm in. But when I was in Albania and I lived in this very little little city where we were the only tourists at all. And then on top of that, I'm the only black person there. And on top of that, I'm like a foot taller than everyone. So anytime I'm recording something, like everybody was just watching. But I
Mhm,
had a thought one day where I was like, that's what they're supposed to do. Like, if you're watching sports, like the people that are doing something are not the people that are watching, and the people that aren't doing something are the people that are watching. But you watching, yelling, and even hating doesn't stop Michael Jordan from scoring. So you still got to do it
mhm,
no matter what. So I was like, of course they're gonna watch. Like I think most people are wishing that they could do these things. And so when they see you, it's not like a judgment. It's like, dang, I wish I had the confidence. Like I really want to start my business. Or I really want to do that. So
mhm. No, exactly. And in one of my modules, I go over a how to handle criticism uh, topic, and basically what I say is, if someone is leaving a bad comment on your video, then it's kind of a them problem. You know, if they're leaving a bad comment, I will say with no merit, because there's a difference between a bad comment and a constructive comment. Constructive comments can either be written really well or written like a bad comment. For example, like, how dare you get this fact wrong? Like, are you stupid? Like, it's actually this. It's written like a bad comment, but it might have merit if they're actually
right,
right.
right,
But that's different from a regular bad comment where it's like, you know, thumbs down or just the letter F or yeah, I hate the way your
yeah,
hair looks or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
It's people just hurting inside and taking it out on you. So there's a whole like thing in there on how to overcome that. And basically how to overcome that is just you kind of just have to take it and move on. You know, you just kind of read it, let it roll off your shoulder and move on because most of the time you're going to be receiving 98% or 99% good comments. But the weird part is the good comments over time seem to fade away because you're getting so many of them
right,
that the one bad comment stands out like, "Ah, I'm the worst in the world. How could not everybody love me?" And the fact of the
yeah.
matter is, not everybody will love you, and that's okay.
So is there a specific like framework, maybe framework is the right word, that you take people through when it comes to being confident on camera that you can like maybe give us an example or walk us through?
Sure. So, basically what I do is I take, anyone that wants to learn how to be confident on camera, the first thing I do is put a name to the fear. So I wanna talk about the psychology, similar to the video I posted, either yesterday or the day before. All the days when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes a week can feel like months, and sometimes an hour can feel like a whole day. So but the first thing I talk about is, the psychology, and I talk about the amygdala, which is a part of our brain that is wired to keep us alive no matter what. So it's left over from our caveman days. It's left over from when lions were chasing us to eat us and all that fun stuff. And the interesting part about our brain is that if, like back then, if we were like a spotlight, if a spotlight was put on us, then there's a possibility that we're the one that's going to get eaten and we're the ones going to be dragged away from the village. And yeah, it's a survival instinct, basically. So if you've ever been on stage, let's say like a school play or something, and you had a solo, that fear is a similar fear from when the spotlight is on you because you now have all these people in front of you and you're like, wow, what if I do, everything in your brain starts going, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? And that fear is similar with when you put yourself on camera. So there's something called red light syndrome. I didn't make it up, but I'm definitely using it here because red light syndrome is when the red light on the camera turns on and you freeze like a deer in headlights. And that's your amygdala saying, "Hey, you are now vulnerable. You are now in front of all these, potentially millions of people, and you could say or do the thing that could destroy your life or get you canceled. So, boom, you're deer in headlights." And that fear, it will always be there because your brain is just it's your brain. That fear will always kind of be in the back of your head. But if you can name it and you know it, you can tell the fear to step aside. You can be like, you know what? I hear you. I hear you, fear, but you're going to go over there right now because I'm here and my audience needs to know that I wrote a book. My audience needs to know that I used to be an alcoholic and here's how I overcame it. My audience needs to know about this amazing business opportunity for people that need to increase their productivity. So, fear, you need to step aside because I need to do my job and sit in front of the camera. So, I would say that is step one. Step two, I go into the importance of authenticity. Let me ask the group a question. Show of hands. How many of you have seen a video and wondered if it was real or AI in the last 48 hours? So, how many of you know the mantra of know, like, and trust on social media? So I would actually argue, and I can't claim credit for this either, because a fantastic educator that works with Tony Robbins taught me this. And he's seeing kind of what Mark Cuban's seeing. And Mark Cuban had said that the AI trend is basically going to go up, plateau, and then plummet. And here's the thing, AI will always be here. I'm not saying that AI is going to go away. AI will always be here. But I feel like right now, it's almost like a 2 galaxies are colliding, and one is the AI galaxy and one is our current galaxy. And when 2 galaxies collide, I don't know if you've ever seen the NASA depiction, but what happens is they come together and all the planets start going and the 2 suns are trying to battle out, or the 2, like, masses in the center are trying to figure out which one's gonna win, and eventually they become one mass, and all the planets start calming down and start circling that one mass. So right now we're in kind of the phase, where everybody's just trying out everything. Look at my Sora short film. Look at my, my AI ad. And what I started doing actually is putting out content on YouTube and Instagram, kind of being like, all right, if you're going to put out an ad for a fitness program and you're going to show an AI actor with like 8-pack abs, I'm gonna call that out and say that's not authentic because that's not a real result. But if you're gonna use AI to help with your editing, for example, like for my school course, I use AI to help take out my retakes. I help it shorten my word gaps. That's fantastic. Like it's a fantastic use. It saves me so many hours to be able to do that. But I'm also not gonna do my entire course with an AI avatar because when you're watching me, you're gonna be like, "Where's this guy? Yeah,
Right.
he should be here, right?" So I talk about authenticity, and I noticed that I teach this stuff. There's a real estate office in my town. I go in person and teach this stuff to them. And one thing I noticed is someone was using an AI avatar because of their rooted fear in being on camera. So they didn't
Uh,
want to use the AI avatar, but they were just so scared to be in front of the camera. So then when I started talking about basically the whole confidence module, they were like, "Oh, okay." So point 2 is authenticity, and basically I would say that if you're going to use AI avatars, it's only a matter of time before someone finds out that it's fake, and then even if you made 100 videos of you actually in front of the camera and then one fake one, it could actually just devalue your 100 because people don't know
yeah.
anymore. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, handling negative feedback, so that's the bad comment, the good comment, and the constructive comment, which I covered a little bit before. Um, how to look and sound your best. So, how to look and sound your best basically goes through, it's like lighting and sound. And the reason why I bring up lighting and sound is because in video, if anybody, like Michael, I know you're in journalism. So if anybody's in video, they know that there's a ton of things that go into everything. But inside of my community, what I want people to know is that you don't need all this fancy stuff to get started to do the thing that you've been called to do. You don't need this mic. You don't need these lights. You don't need that camera. You literally just need a phone and you just know how to use it. So, what I do is I teach basically some very inexpensive but good lights and microphones to get started with just your phone without having to spend money on an expensive camera. And when you are happy with your content, when it looks better and sounds better, it actually will make you more confident. There's like a psychological switch. So when your stuff looks good and sounds good, you're going through and it makes editing it easier because you're looking at it like, oh, okay, this actually isn't bad, and therefore it makes you a little bit more confident on camera, but mostly encourages you to just keep going. And then the last thing that I cover is how to handle burnout. This one is ridiculously important. And I want to make sure I get the definition right because I came up with this term called CBS, not the news station, but CBS is called Creator Burnout Syndrome. And it's the feeling of frustration, exhaustion, and discouragement creators face after long sessions of uninterrupted filming. So, for example, to film I'm dropping new videos in my course very soon, and to film all that, I had a very strict deadline because of an IRL opportunity. So I was like, okay, I need to film for 6 hours this day, and I just have to, and there's no way I can't in order to stay on track. Well, after about 4 hours, I went, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like it. The lights have been in my face for 4 hours, and I'm done, I'm out. And that's what I did. I stopped and I left. Because if you try to push through and you're just like so done with it, people on the other end will sense that. People will be like, oh, he doesn't actually want to be doing this right now. Yeah, your body language, your facial expressions, your tone of voice, it's like anything you do is 20% what you say and 80% how you say it.
Yeah.
So, if, for example, like there's actually, funny enough, the video that talks about handling burnout, I was supposed to do on that certain day, and I wound up doing it the morning of the next day, and then I talk about that in that video, so it's a little meta in that way.
Oh.
But the way that I basically break that down is I say everybody has a certain window of time that they're their best when they're talking to a camera. Because I don't know if you've ever been on Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call. If you've ever been in corporate, by the way, and they do meetings that should have been emails, yeah, Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call, and then by the end of the third Zoom call, you don't even want to do the work that you've been assigned to do. They're just so burnt out talking to the camera, you know. So it's similar. When you're just kind of talking and you have these lights in your face, eventually you reach your point where you just can't do it anymore for the day. And I found that my best time is between 10 and 2. So morning, like after I take a shower, after I like do a mini workout, after I sometimes I'll have my coffee with me, sometimes I'll have it beforehand. But I always make an effort to I want to read my Bible beforehand. I just want to, I want to give God that time before I give that time to anybody else. So 10 a.m. is kind of like, okay, I'll start at 10 and then I'll go till 2 and then I'll see if I can push it to 4. Sometimes I can push it to 4. But the other day I tried to push it to 6 and by the time 6 rolled around I'm like, I want dinner. I want to be done. The sun is going down. I haven't been outside today. I want to go touch grass, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so how to find your window of time is threefold. Number 1, if you start using likes, you knows, filler words, basically. So my filler words, funny enough, they're not like or you know. My filler words are so and now. Don't know why, but they are. The number one word that was detected most in my videos is the word so. No idea. So there you go, right? Now I'm thinking about it. When I start to get my creator burnout syndrome, I start to pay attention. Like, am I starting to use filler words more often? Number two, am I starting to have longer word gaps? So, am I starting to think of what I'm saying more and more? So, if I have, again, now I'm going to think about it the whole time. But if I have longer word gaps, that's a sign that I'm starting to get tired and burnt out as well. Number three, and this one's the most important, if you start getting frustrated at the first two. If you start using filler words and it's okay, you just can continue going, that's fine. If you start lengthening your word gaps because you're truly just thinking about what you want to say, that's fine too. But when you start getting frustrated at the two, that's when your burnout point is basically already here or on its way, and that's when it's going to start appearing on camera to your audience, and that's when you want to just kind of walk away. And my last point is just practice. So inside of my module, I have practice prompts, and what I say is, just go ahead and talk to your camera about literally anything. It could be what you had for breakfast. It could be the plans you have. It could be literally everything you just said on the call. It could be, yeah, I want to talk through all my dreams, thoughts, and desires, and I just want to speak it on camera and just get used to the reps. And doing that, in my opinion, is the best way to get those reps in, to be able to become confident on camera. And there's a very, very interesting technique by, I don't know if you guys know Vin. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it starts with a G. He's a British Asian guy. His name is Vin. It's like VINH. And what he says is, he goes, all right, so talk to your camera and do like a 30 to 60-second thing. Then listen to it, but put your phone face down on your desk. So this way you're not seeing yourself. This way you're just listening to what you're saying and how you're saying it. Are you slowing down? Are you saying, words maybe in a way you don't want to be saying it? Are your word patterns good? After that, then watch your video. Then look at your body language. Then look at all the, like, how you maybe moved your hands, or how you moved your head, or where were your eyes? Were your eyes darting all over the place? So that's the way that he teaches on how to critique yourself and get better. But before you even get to any of that, just get reps in. Reps will make everything so much easier. And that's kind of my, how many points was that? 5? My 5-point confidence on camera overview, I would say.
What I think could be cool now is if we just maybe do like Q&A, so you could, whoever wants to come up, and you could talk about those specific things that they're trying to do, and then you guys could just ask some questions and get really like in the nitty gritty specific of like what you're trying to do.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you want to pick someone to go first, or if you guys want to volunteer.
Let's go to Michael. He shall be voluntold.
I think I can. I think I
Hey,
can do this.
coming from the military, I've heard that before. So
Oh, I thought I could do both. They didn't add that feature yet. Okay, it's okay. We'll just
No, it's in the
go.
pipeline.
Yeah, we'll just go like this. This is cool.
That's fine.
first question I have, Rob, is where can we find you on YouTube? Is it under your name, or is it under something else?
Sure. Yeah. So it's Rob Keller. So ITSROBKELLER.
Okay. So I think the only thing I'm kind of interested in is the whole idea of using your phone for like doing short live segments, kind of like walking, and filming yourself doing that. Because I haven't done that. I mean, when I was in broadcast journalism in the military, I got out in 2014. We weren't doing stuff with our phones. It was just kind of starting to come into vogue, but everything was with, a big, huge beta cam or studio cams, or, going out on shoots. We'd lug around our cameras with, 10-pound batteries and things like that. And it's interesting, just a kind of a side story. So my wife is about 120 pounds. She deployed with the SEALs multiple times, and she would have to take all the gear that the SEAL guys, had, plus all of her camera gear. So she had 2 D4 cameras, video camera with batteries, carrying an M9 and an M4 weapons. And she actually had about 135 pounds of gear that she would have to haul around. Wow. And try to film, the guys out there doing stuff. But anyhow, yeah, it's interesting using the phones. I think that's kind of one of the things where you mentioned repetitions, and that's just, I think back to like watching some of the videos of like Mr. Beast, when he said, man, if you go back to my first ones, he goes, they sucked, but he goes, you just got to keep going and going and going and just doing it. And after a while, you get to that point to where You don't even realize the camera's there. I mean, it's just like talking to another person. So
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, in my so my first iteration of my course, I mentioned Mr. Beast and I mentioned exactly that, and I actually scrolled to the bottom of his YouTube channel. I think it's 7 years now, 7 years back, and what he was doing was just video, like he was sitting playing video games, not even really commenting on them, like not the Jacksepticeye or Markiplier on YouTube, where they make it super entertaining and they comment, like do commentary on the game the whole time. He's just chilling with his bros, playing playing a game with his webcam. And
yeah,
now he's doing multi-million-dollar productions, sometimes giving away $1 million in his videos. I remember one in particular where he walked into Best Buy and said, "You can spend whatever's on this card, but if you go over, you get nothing." And he wouldn't tell them what the limit was. That was a fun one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Uh, but sorry, going back to your question, you mentioned using your phone. I think you said de-blocking. So he said. So tell me what that term means. The terminology from journalism to what I do might be a little different.
which term?
Did you say de-blocking? Is that what you said? Using your phone for doing what?
Oh, for like when I'm out just walking, and I want to
Oh,
do some kind of like you said, D goes out, and does his
oh,
walks
oh.
and films it. Yes. So
De-walking. Got it.
Yeah.
I heard de-blocking. I'm like, that sounds like a sport term in like, dodgeball or something. Um, yeah. So with that, I would say there's a concept where it's like how to almost expand your comfortability. And what I would say is start in a bedroom. Just grab your phone and just talk to your camera. And eventually, move to your living room, like in front of your wife, for example, and just be like, okay, I'm going to talk to my camera in front of people. And then after that, you can go outside on your front lawn and you can be like, hey, I'm going to talk to my camera. And people drive by and there's neighbors and, I look weird, but whatever. And then the next step is going downtown, whatever town you're at, and just start doing it downtown. Like D just walks down the street and does it. And then one thing I say is if you want to rip the band-aid off and you live in a major city, so for my New York City folk, just go to Times Square and there's a ton of people, but no one cares because it's New York. So it's the city where there's a million people, but it feels like zero. So it's the perfect spot to be able to just rip the band-aid off and go for it right away.
And I'll say like that's what I did. I think sometimes people maybe because they see the videos now, it can come across as like, oh, I just go outside. But like for the first, I think maybe even years, bro. Like I was too afraid to go out and record like in front of people. I would just record them in the garage or I would get away from family. And I think what pushed me to do it more in front of people is I had got some businesses to pay me to create content, and then the videographer was being weird and he just didn't show up. So I was like, dang, I have to actually like buy a camera now. I have to record this. And I was so mad at him that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start vlogging. That way he can see like the process of me being rich, like without him. And I had to like be on the camera. And then I was in front of the business owners, in front of their staff. And so then I think like you said, little by little, like you start going from the bedroom to the front grass to going on a walk in your neighborhood, but you make sure like no one's around. So yeah, you're walking outside but no one's around, and then slowly but surely you're getting in more crowded places.
Mhm.
So it definitely wasn't like a overnight thing. It wasn't even a week thing, wasn't even a month thing. It's like a years thing for me.
Yeah, and same here. It's 3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
doesn't mean it will take everybody 3 years, though. Yeah, it could mean one of the things that really helped accelerate, I guess, the growth journey. Honestly, I might actually, entrepreneurs sometimes they talk about things and they get ideas and they're like, "Oh, I might do that." I'm having
Yeah.
one of those moments right now. I might implement those call sessions that I did for Remote Closing Academy into my own community because it helped me get out of my comfort zone enough to push me to do it quick. So there's an idea.
I,
Maybe I
I
can
think
build
what would be cool is like you said that people should just get on their phone, and they should just record. And I did this thing in Hungary once on like it was about video content, but part of it was like being confident on camera. And it was in person. There was maybe like 20 people there. And I said, what we're gonna do now is you're gonna go around, you're gonna pull out your phone, and you're gonna say, hey, my name is so and so, and this is like what I do for a living. Super simple.
Mm.
And you're gonna do it in front of everyone. And like we're gonna start with one person and go to the next because I was like, it's easy to be in something like this. You nod your head, and then when we're off here and there's no Rob, there's no D, and you have to do it, like you can make all these excuses. But now you will have a video that proves to you that you can be on video because you did it. And
Mm.
people were like so nervous about it, but afterwards, bro, there was people that quit their job and became like full time on YouTube. And they're
Wow.
like, I take it back to like I finally took the leap. So I think maybe you could even do some calls where like you're doing that in a group setting, like, hey, you practice the thing and you can be there with them, get
That's a
them out of
really
their
good
comfort.
idea. It's a good idea. I'm going to credit you with that when it works. You said something, and it made me think of a point that I wanted to make. Well, I lost my train of thought for that, but if I come back to it, I'll tell you. So, yes.
What about David?
Um, yeah, recognize myself in the filler words and the loss of thoughts when I had to do a video. Actually, it happened this morning because I was trying to shoot my VSL, and I was like speaking, and then it was blank. So I know this feeling, and I want to overcome it.
Okay. I must apologize because may I ask you to repeat the question?
So basically, like, how do you manage filler words? Like, what do you do about that? And
Got it.
also, if you're speaking in a language that's not your native language.
Got it. Okay. Filler words comes down to repetition, recording yourself, and listening to it. So, for example, the concept I explained from Vin, where you record yourself and then you put your phone down. And when you're not watching yourself, you're going to be able to hear those filler words a lot more. For example, David, I hear a lot of filler words just speaking on Zoom. But you also mentioned that English isn't your first language. So, to tackle the language barrier, um, Mr. Beast does it a little differently. So, I guess it depends on what your timeline is, because I don't want to give an answer that's just like, well, just learn English, because that's a very, very naive answer to give, you know. And as an American, I know that any other country that doesn't speak English will hate that answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, that being said, my cousin, he married a Brazilian and he wanted to know Portuguese. So what he did is he went on Duolingo and he just studied Portuguese for, I think he's on his second year. And now he can actually go and spend time with her family and her friends in Brazil and have conversations with them. So I've personally never tried the app, but I know it works for him. I don't know how effective it is with English, but if you aren't on Duolingo, it might help. So just that. But what Mr. Beast does is he actually has people translate all of his videos, and they are dubbed, but they translate his videos into every language. And then he has channels that go across the entire world.
Yeah, it's
So
insane.
basically, every country has a Mr. Beast version for them. And I know there are AI tools now that can listen to your voice and kind of create a I have to look into to see if you can do this across languages,
I
but
posted a video in the community. I can try to find you, but there's a lady that did it from actually she speaks French and she did it to English.
there
And
you
I
go.
was like, it's so hard to uh believe that it's AI because it doesn't sound robotic. Like it has even like a in this video, I am going to teach like it says it like it's natural. It's very I was like, wow, this is crazy how good it is.
There you go, David. I would say that is your short-term solution is that, Your longer term solution is Duolingo.
Okay.
Yeah, I think anything, bro. Like you just have to like I'm learning Hungarian and like the only way I can get better at speaking is speaking. Like Duolingo, all this stuff is good, but obviously you're not speaking. So I think just having more like you're doing on here. If you keep getting
Yeah,
on these calls and the filler words go down, then like over time they do. But I think people let that stop them from being on video. But it's the being on video that's going to help you because you're just doing it again and again and again and again. And
yeah, exactly. The fact that I'm immersed in the language, it's very important for me to learn, I think.
Rob, what are your thoughts on being okay with speaking slower? I think sometimes people have these filler words maybe because they are thinking that they have to talk quickly. Versus if I'm talking to you now, I could say, what are your thoughts on David maybe using, you know what I mean? Instead of just like trying to get it all out right there. Is there, what are your thoughts on that?
When I was, this is 2020, I think. I'm thinking back years. But there was a brief stint where, so Jackie, you mentioned job to job to job. So I was business to business to business. I would start a business and invest a ton of money in it, and then my shiny object syndrome would be like, "Ooh, that thing," and then I would go shut that down and go do that. So one of my businesses was I was actually a financial coach for Dave Ramsey and the Ramsey platform. And one of the things that they taught in their coaching was to be okay with silence. And it's actually a very, very good thing to know for sales as well, to just the art of sitting back and shutting up. And if you've ever bought a car, the art of sitting back and shutting up is beautiful. So, for example, let's do an exercise right now. I want everybody to not say a word for 10 seconds, starting now. How's everybody feel?
Okay.
Some of us might be okay with that. Some of us might have been like, "Oh my God, what, is someone going to say something? I'm just, all right, this is weird." So, practicing kind of almost like meditating, almost like being okay with that silence, and try it in real life with people. Try if there's a silence and you find yourself filling it, when a conversation dies down, what I find is I'll just kind of say nothing and let them initiate a new
Yeah.
conversation or walk away, because I'm okay with the
Uh,
silence. So try that next time when you're talking to somebody and the conversation kind of comes to a lull. Just try saying nothing and seeing what happens. So
This requires a lot of practice.
it does.
Yeah.
It does for sure.
I had the same problem. I was using a lot of filler words for a very long time, and I couldn't say one sentence without filler words until I just let myself to be quiet for a few seconds without feeling weird, you know.
Mhm.
I still have problems sometimes to say one sentence without having a break, you know. Like even previous sentence, I had to stop and then keep talking, you know. This helped me a lot, just giving myself the permission to pause. Because when you look, at least in the past, when I was thinking, okay, if I want to be charismatic or whatever, I need to talk fast. I need to talk all the time because that's what I thought it was cool. But then I realized actually the best speakers, they take breaks, they pause, they think before speaking. They don't talk nonstop all the time. And when I realized that, everything became better. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
you do a good job, man.
I remembered the point I was gonna make earlier, and it actually ties into what we're talking about right now. When you're practicing and you're talking to yourself essentially with your phone, the cool part is the more reps you get in, like we can say all day, like practice makes perfect, and just get more reps in and do it again and again. But there's actually a psychological component as to why the practice is working. Remember earlier I talked about the amygdala and how it's designed to keep you alive. And if you're in the spotlight, you could become someone's lunch or something's lunch. Well, every time you practice, nothing ate you and you're still alive. So your brain is actually kind of wiring itself very slowly to be like, oh, I'm okay. I'm safe. So every time you practice, you put your phone down and nothing happened, your brain is like, oh, I didn't die. Cool. We can do this again. A lot of people actually, I'm glad Sean hopped on, as Sean's in my community as well. And Sean, I believe, if I remember correctly, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but after we did a coaching session together, and after basically just a few reps, you were already able to just keep going because you're like, oh, this is actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. Yeah, I can keep doing this. So, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but how did it feel for you when you got
No,
started?
not needing to correct you at all. It's really is that the more exposure you get, the easier it becomes. So definitely.
Sweet.
Rob, how are you on time? Are you
Okay.
all right if we go to okay? Jackie, you wanna go? Like what questions, specific questions you might have? I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but
Yeah, so I love all of this. I've been in sales, in car sales. My little brother he's been in sales for 30 years and he's so good. He's so good. So when I jumped in car sales at the end of 2019, he told me about the pause and that he once was training a young guy. And he said, when they're thinking, he said, don't you dare say a word.
Mhm.
And the kid, he started to lean forward and he stepped on his foot underneath the desk and was like, kind of like, don't say it. And so I was uncomfortable with the pause. And I jumped into window sale, because the world shut down in 2020. So I lost that job. But, when I was in window sales, I took that knowledge with me, and I'm in people's homes, and I'm like, "Okay, here's a $60,000 price tag and why you should do it." And I remember sitting there on the couch, and the customers were like, "Ugh, yeah, it's just too much." And I sat there, and then the wife looked at the husband, and I knew right then I had the sale. I
Mhm.
was like, "Hey,
Yep.
listen, I have to go call my manager. I'll be right back." And I came in and I closed them. Um, but what I especially liked you saying is that you start your morning with the Bible because I've started doing that in the last year because my brain is clicking from like 3 to 7 a.m. Like it's on fire. And I thought the best way I could give back to God is by giving him my prime time. And I shut things down when those voices come in and say, just get a job. This isn't going to work. And that's around 8 o'clock at night. But mine is more about the technical aspect. I've been making shorts on my other art YouTube page very sporadically. I know they say consistency is everything. Now that I'm starting out with 0 followers on this brand new YouTube that's going to be dedicated to what I'm doing, what I'm gonna do long form, like 2 to 4 minutes for each video. Talk to us about consistency, how often to post. I'm big on quality over quantity. Um, and since it is gonna be long form and I'm not gonna worry about shorts for the time being, like, and I guess I can jump on AI and say, "Hey, what's the screen size?" All of that. Do you always link back to a CTA? Are you just offering content? And I have one more, but I'll hold off on that. It was just a comment on D, but I'll come back to that after you answer.
Okay. Um, so I will open by saying that I am not a YouTube expert. If you look me up on YouTube, I am basically starting my YouTube journey. I just know a lot about video creation. So most of my knowledge comes more on the public speaking side, more on the technical video creation side, and less so on the strategy side. But that is something I'm vigorously on my way to figuring out right now. So when I speak to this, I'm going to tell you what I've seen so far, as well as what I've seen other people be successful with, because I don't want to come across to you as inauthentic or trying to like not be someone who I'm not. So for YouTube, I would say the part of it I can speak to with consistency is twofold. Number one, I know that the algorithm likes consistency. And from what I've learned, it's the faster you want the result is linked to the more often you post. So, for example, if you want X amount of subscribers or X amount of views in X amount of time, you'll want to post Y amount of videos. Or if you want basically more subscribers over less time, you're going to want to post more content. So you could post every day. You could post, I know way back when, before the content boom kind of happens, people were posting once a week, similar to a TV show. But if you're really, really trying to hone in on quality over quantity, I would say that even if you started out with something that's more comfortable for you, so long as it's consistent, the algorithm will still favor you. So if you don't do like this week and then nothing for 3 weeks and then this one and then nothing for 4 weeks and then this one. If you want to try to commit to once a week to start and then see if you can increase from there, that's great. And what that does is it gets you in the mindset of, oh, I have to do this because I have to post, every Friday. It also will, so that encourages you to stay consistent. It'll also tell the algorithm you're posting like once a week. Okay, this is great. And then the people that wind up following you will get used to that pattern. So there's like, for example, there's a journalism YouTube channel that started posting once a week, and then eventually he did twice a week, and eventually he did every day. But it took years for him to get to that point. From the technical side of how to do it, if you're just doing once a week, then it's pretty easy to just kind of write out what you're going to say. And when it comes to scripting, I always say to bullet point your scripts instead of write out a full script. And the reason I say that is it's much easier to you're the subject matter expert. So it's easier to kind of have it come from your brain instead of trying to memorize a word for word script. Because if you stumble over part of it or don't remember part of it, then it's easy to get frustrated at it. It takes a lot longer to film. And honestly, for my school course, I just wrote an outline and then I just spewed knowledge at the camera. I didn't even have bullet points. My first course, I did have bullet points, but I found it was actually easier the second time around without anything. Bullet points can help you stay on track, though. They can help you say, okay, I definitely want to hit this topic, and this topic. But I would say, as the subject matter expert, just speak from the heart, speak from your mind, and it'll come across more natural. And then you can edit that down. I use Descript. It's a amazing platform. I use a mixture of 3 different video editors. Premiere for my complicated stuff, CapCut for my short form, basically just anything short form, and then Descript for my long form / school course stuff, because it has AI tools that will take away my repeats, it will take away my word gaps, and it just makes things so much easier. Like I filmed one video for 20 minutes, and then by taking out repeats and taking out word gaps, I only had to sit through like 7 minutes of content to then further edit down. So instead of having to go through the whole 20 minutes. So it saves so much time using that program. And what I would also say is keep the camera on when you're filming, because this only works that only works if you're just filming the whole way through. If you do multiple cuts, like you start and stop, 2 things happen. If you start and stop, number one, you're not gonna be able to really use Descript to edit in that way, because now you have all these different clips. And number 2, it actually interrupts you psychologically, because when you start and stop, you now have all this time to think about, well, that wasn't good, or I really want a sandwich right now, or like, what time is my appointment later? You have all this time to think about all this other stuff. But when you're continuing to record, it's still going. So you're like, oh, okay, just let me keep going. I'll brush it off. It's good. I'll keep moving on. I'm good. Let's keep going. So I'd say keep all that in mind when creating your video. And then for consistency's sake, do something that you can commit to, start there, and then increase over time.
Awesome. I'm taking notes on everything. Yeah, and I wanted to encourage is it David? Is that how you say it in French? France?
Yes. Yes.
David? Yeah, so je m'appelle Jacqueline. That's all I know, really. I didn't do
It's
good in
good.
school. Um, but yeah, when I lost my job in 2020, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this online thing, and I had no idea how to video edit, Adobe Premiere, none of that. And there was a giveaway, and I wanted so bad to enter this contest, and I didn't know how, and I sat there crying. And now I'm sitting around doing video editing every day for hours a day, and I freaking love it.
Nice.
So keep practicing your English. Your voice matters. And then as far as D goes, I did his podcast yesterday and was almost sick to my stomach afterwards. I was like, nobody can see this. I can't believe I did it. I sent it to my little brother, and then I clicked on YouTube and I was like, oh my God, it's out there. It's out there. And I went on Instagram for that dopamine hit just to feel good. And I came across a reel where a guy said the most underutilized emotion is embarrassment. He said no one like embraces it, practices it. He was like, go out there, do stuff, mess up. And he
Mhm.
was like, get into that cringy feeling and then it'll get better. So
Mhm.
it was
That's
just
awesome.
it was pretty cool that that came up on my feed because now I'm like, "Okay, right on, I did it. I did it. I don't care. I don't care what
And
the background
I'm
was."
so thankful that you're not one of these people that I've had no one in here, thankfully, but people in the past that are like, "Oh, I want to share my story," and then we do it, and then I put it up and like, "Oh, can you take that down?" I'm like, "Bruh, like what? No." So I also know that I remember when before we did it, you said something like you got up like 4 hours early to prep or something like that. So I'm glad that you didn't cancel as well. I think like your story is really inspiring. I think it's going to help a lot of people, and so I applaud you for taking that step. And now you're helping us on the call with even you sharing that.
Mhm.
Yeah, right
I was
on.
also
Thank you.
stressed.
Yeah, I remember Camille was stressed too.
It's hard,
Yeah.
Camille. I feel the pain, man.
I can't wait for the day
Yeah.
that some of you guys are like sharing pictures from you either like on TV or other podcasts or on stage, and it's like, man, I remember those times when you were like so worried, and now look at the stuff you're doing. It's gonna be so cool.
For sure. Oh, and Jackie, I just wanted to um, touch on, like, I just love your story so much, and so many people can benefit from everything that's up in your mind. Um, inside of the video that talks about authenticity and the importance of authenticity, I bring up my fiance. So she is a travel advisor, and she was very, very afraid to tell her story because she actually was born with bilateral hip dysplasia. And I only have permission to tell it because, well, it's kind of out on the internet and everybody knows now. So she was born with bilateral hip dysplasia, and she was in body casts like
What is
all of
that?
her
What
life.
does it mean? What is that?
So it's when your hips just aren't aligned. So instead of, like, imagine, I'm just going to use my head as an example. Imagine this is your pelvis and your hips are supposed to be here. So hers are here.
Oh, it's like they're higher.
Yeah. So they're like not in, so there's like a ball and socket, and they're just out of the ball and socket.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
basically, if the doctors did nothing, she would not be able to walk, like, at all,
Hmm.
because they're just not connected. So, and I hope I got that right. But the she's had 13 hip surgeries and 2 full hip replacements, and she's 26 years old. Yeah. So, that means they will have to get replaced in about 20 years. So there will be a moment in our future where she will be in the hospital, and she knows this too. She's like, "Hey, are you ready 20 years from now when I'm in the hospital for a week?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." So, but she wanted to be able to tell that story because she travels the world, and she's been to like 36 countries or 30. She always she's gonna be on me for getting this wrong again.
She's been to over 30 countries.
Over 30 countries and 36 states. That's it. It's 36 states, 30 countries. And she has climbed mountains. She is able to, like, she can walk perfectly fine. But it wasn't always easy. She was in a wheelchair. There's photos of her like in literally full body cast where she can't move as
Wow.
a 6-year-old. She was in wheelchair all throughout like late elementary school and middle school. And she said, that's great. I'm going to tell the story. So on her website, it's called momentsbymegan.com, MEAGAN. And there's a video on there. And basically, it goes through that hero's journey. And it has photos from her childhood. It shows the photos of her as a 6-year-old with the body cast. And then we went and hiked a mountain together. And I took photos of her with the cane. And then I had her like cheering at the top of the mountain with the cane. But then all the other shots are her walking perfectly fine. And she basically says, "Look, this is what I grew up with, and I'm able to travel the world. And now as a travel advisor, I get to help you do the same."
No, that's awesome.
And she was terrified to tell the story. She was super terrified. And it was nothing but received well. That video got 2,500 views in, I think, like 48 hours.
Wow.
It's crazy. And her account has like 30 followers.
Wow. That's cool.
So my point to that is tell your story. Because here's the thing. If you're afraid about corporate looking at it and being like, she's unhireable, you hate working for corporate anyway. So
Can't stand it.
you don't want to work for them either. And also, you've overcome all that. So even if worse came to worse and you did have to go get a job, the answer to that in the interview is, yeah, that was my past and this is me now. So do you want me now or do you want to hire that me? Because that me's over. This is me now. So they have no business even asking you about that.
I think
Okay.
one of the powerful things you said too was you said that guy said, can you repeat what the guy told you about the pimple? Because Camille wasn't on here and Sean wasn't on. Maybe Sean knows this, but I like the way you told it.
So earlier I said that I was afraid to be in front of the camera. I did not want to. I hated how it looked. I hated how it sounded. I didn't want what I had to say put out into the internet forever. Maybe I even had a pimple on my forehead. I just did not want the camera on me. And my mentor said, "So let me get this straight. So you have so much knowledge over so many years. And by the way, I've spent more than I care to even track on courses. So it's like you spent so much money on courses to learn things. You have so much knowledge and experience over the last 11 years. And at that time, so this was 3 years ago. So at the time it was 8 years. Over the last 8 years, and you're withholding that information from the people that desperately need to hear it now to change their lives because you're worried about a pimple on your forehead." And I'm like, well, when you put it that way, that's a good point. It's a good point. So it's almost like, I've always believed in this, duty to pay it forward. And I had this imposter syndrome forever. And Megan actually helped me a lot through that, even in the past year, where I'm like, no one wants to hear my story. I know things. No one wants to hear my story. My story's boring. And she goes, hang on. Is this the kid that didn't have friends until like 5th grade because he went to a bunch of different schools because he had severe ADHD? Is this the same kid that used that ADHD and coped with it all throughout middle school to then create multiple businesses, try and fail at different things to create something successful later on without medication and learned how to do all that? Is that the same kid I'm talking to? And I'm like, okay, go on. So she was very, very good at being able to kind of build that, like, she's an outside voice that I can listen to almost like build that hero's journey that I didn't even know I had. And by the way, up until this point, I didn't even talk about any of that. But that was, you wouldn't know it unless I said it. But,
Right.
there's that whole part of overcoming hardship as well.
Tell your story, Jackie. We're here for you.
Do it. Do it. I want to see you on a stage.
Well, just to add to that, because of course I'm a classic overshare. I went to 11 schools in 12 years, and my dad moved us around the country. And I had a really bad stutter. And I think that's part of the fear of public speaking and getting out there. Not that it's going to come back, um, but it was just the shame. And it's so sad what happens to a little kid's brain when like really scary bad stuff happens. Because now my brain is wired for that. Oh, I can't get on camera. So, I thank you for sharing about your childhood and moving a lot, because that stuff is hard to get over. It really is.
Yeah, and it definitely sticks with you, and it's one of those things where, like, for example, I'll use Megan as an example here too. Even though she can walk, she's in a crazy amount of pain every single day, like all the time. But you wouldn't know it.
Wow.
You would have no idea. Even I forget sometimes, but I know it. But like she does so well hiding it that there are some times where she just burns out and it's just like, all right, my hips are on fire. I need to sit. I need to relax and do nothing. And yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I remind her, you're so strong because you could choose to just be a victim and just lay in bed all day and just demand everybody else serve you and be like, oh, my hips hurt, so bring me hot chocolate, but she doesn't. She chooses. She says, this is my life, and she's a believer as well, so she says, Jesus gave me this life, and it would not be wise of me, it's not biblically sound of me to lay around all day. Like, he gave me this life, and I want to be a bountiful and dutiful wife, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm like, that is strength beyond
Right.
beyond fathomable. Like it's crazy. So everybody on this call has their story. Everybody has strength. Everybody has strength they can tap into. And Jackie, you're already tapping into it. And I could see you literally I could see you on stages being like, this is where I was, and you would have no idea unless I put it up here. Yeah, I actually save photos. There are photos I've wanted to delete over the years. But I have photos from when I was working in an Amazon van. I had a full goatee. It was awful. It's disgusting. Like, I do not look good with a goatee. It was really bad. But I have a full goatee. I was like 20 pounds heavier. I was in an Amazon vest, and I was like, it was raining outside. So I was like sopping rat. And I'm in this van, and I took a selfie of myself. And why did I do that? Because I knew one day I would put that up on a PowerPoint
I love
on
that.
some stage somewhere and be like, that was me. So get yourself a folder and save all that stuff, because one day you'll use it.
Awesome. Love that.
Camille, what about you, brother? Any questions?
About the folder, I actually really regret not having that, because in the past I was making a lot of videos, not necessarily pictures, but I was making a lot of videos, and every single time it didn't look perfect, I was instantly removing it. So now I remember when I was starting YouTube 1 year ago, I was like, okay, let's start with a transformation video. And that's when I realized I don't have any before pictures or videos. Only the afters. Or the befores where I looked extraordinarily well doing something,
Well, now
So,
you have an opportunity to create new befores, because you don't know where you'll be in 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. So now
that's true.
are your new befores.
Now I keep everything.
Exactly.
How can I know you gave your YouTube, but how can people get in touch with you if they want to join your community or they're interested in working with you? What does that look like?
Sure. So it's confidentcreatorscommunity.com. and I do have that rerouting to the school page.
Say that one more time.
ConfidentCreatorsCommunity.com.
ConfidentCreatorsCommunity.com.
Yeah, 3C. I tried to get 3C.com, but it was very taken. Or you can go into school search and type Confident Creators Community, and it'll pop up as, I think, number 4 last time I checked. So yeah, and then my handles on all the socials are it's Rob Keller. So I managed to keep that consistent. That's another point. If you can make all of your socials consistent, it's a good thing. So have the same name for everything. So it's ITS Rob RB Keller KELLER, and then ConfidentCreatorsCommunity.com, and it's free. So that's great
for people that might be wondering. Trying to throw you an alley-oop.
Yeah.
What are the different ways that people can work with you? So you have the community, but like, what are the different things that if someone wants to be on video, they like this, like, man, I like this, but I want help, actually putting out the videos, being confident. Like, what are the different things that you offer?
So now that school has come out with tiers, this is probably going to adjust. So the current game plan, and this is subject to change, but the current game plan is the courses and the community will be free because I want people to come in and be able to kind of have the information and be able to do it on their own if they so wish. I also just want to foster a community of like everybody's kind of on the same page for that aspect for the free group. Then there's going to be the premium. The premium is going to include the 2 biweekly coaching calls where it's a group coaching call. We do kind of a lesson and then a Q&A, and I do 2 a month. And then the first one, what I do is I give away a free coaching session one-on-one with me for everybody who is level. I might actually increase it to level 4 eventually, but right now, anyone who's level 3 gets entered into that giveaway. And they also have to be on the call. So they have to be level 3 and on the call to be entered into the giveaway. And then I do the spinny wheel of names. So that is premium. And then premium will also get access to, there's bonus courses that'll come out ultimately. So right now there's the Confidence on Camera course. And I'm going to be dropping the technical know-how course and an AI discoverability course very soon. That's kind of the meat and potatoes of the initial, lesson plan. But then I'm going to be dropping bonuses as time goes on, and premium will get access to the bonuses. Then VIP is when they get the one-on-one access with me. That's if you want a fully fledged coaching program. And that's like, hey, I'm going to sit with you, create a content calendar with you, make sure all of your social medias are up to date, make sure that you have them created and that they're consistent across the board, help you with the graphics, the descriptions, making sure your video descriptions are really, really good. I'm developing a system right now where AI search, I'm not going to go into like the super rabbit hole on this because it could take an hour, but AI search is challenging Google search. Not so much yet. Google is still 87% of the market, but ChatGPT is catching up very, very soon. And I could see it taking over, especially with Atlas, if Google doesn't do something very soon. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I get everybody's YouTube videos to be a part of AI search when someone searches for something? And I'm very, very close to figuring it out. So that's going to be over in the AI discoverability section, but I will also help people one-on-one in the VIP section of that as well. And there's going to be like this application process because VIP will be on the more expensive side. So I want to make sure that who I'm working with is a good fit. So there'll kind of be a little application process. I'll do a discovery call, and then we get to know each other. I get to know your business. You get to know my coaching style. And if we're a good fit, then we go ahead and do that.
Nice. Anything else you want to add before we hop off here? Any final words or action steps? I guess action steps could be good too. Like, what should people do now that they've been on here or watched this?
I'll give you the exact action step that I have at the end of my Confidence on Camera course. It's create a video. It's similar to your action step. Create a video talking about who you are, what you do, what you hope to I guess, gain or learn from everything that if you want to post it inside of Undeterred Entrepreneurs. So what
Yeah, you
you
can
hope
post it
to,
on this post even
yeah,
for
there
the
you go.
replay.
Yeah. So comment with a video saying, all right, who you are, what you do, what you learned from this session, and give us a, let's see, a last one. Because my other one is a fun fact, but I want to change it for this one. What you learned, and then how you'll implement it. So who you are, what you do, what you learned, and how you'll implement it. And comment that under this post. In video form.
Any-
Don't cheat and do text.
Yeah.
Rob, I'm still looking for your YouTube. How do you spell it again? I was just
Yeah, it's ITS, like it is ITS.
mhm.
Rob, R-O-B, Keller, Keller. And if you don't
So when you
find it,
say it, you have to be like, it's
yeah,
Rob Keller.
exactly. The channel name is It's Rob Keller. And if you don't find it, it's because, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a YouTube expert. I'm just a videographer that knows how to do the fancy stuff and get out of his own way on camera. So when you see that it has like 11 subscribers, that might be why you can't find it.
Okay, no, I just found it. I was putting an A at the end of Keller. Okay,
Keller.
perfect.
And
Wow.
you have your YouTube link to your profile in school, right?
If I don't, it will be in the next 30 minutes.
He doesn't.
Okay, yeah, link that up, Rob. And then anyone that's in the community can just click on your name and go to the YouTube.
There you go. Perfect.
Mhm.
I appreciate you doing this, man. Appreciate you coming on.
I
Giving
appreciate
us
you
a lot
having
of
me.
value. What did you guys think so far? The people that obviously you guys that are on, what did you guys think of it?
I thought it was incredible, and you need to add your YouTube link on your school profile.
Boom.
Yeah, it was very cool. I've learned so much actually, and I like this kind of format because you can. I mean, you have the clear view of the next steps, and it's really important to move and to do things.
Yeah, me and Rob were talking a bit on Google Meet before coming on here, and I was saying like when we came up with the idea to do these, I got tired of people saying like we're gonna do a camera confidence workshop, but instead of them teaching you, it's more like the first is like their origin story of like 30 minutes of like where they were started, and then the rest is just like here's the 3 secrets, and it's like you didn't really learn. They just kind of talk about stuff, and that then like now if you really want help, you can go to this page and join my thing, and you're just looking at slides the whole time. And I'm like, bro, I don't like these should not be boring. It should be more engaging. Like we should be talking with each other, and it should be more like if we did it in person and we just had a mic, and then you would give the microphone to someone in the crowd that has a question and be more engaging. So you did a great job, Rob.
Thank you. And thank you again for having me on. It's been an honor.
Appreciate you, bro. Alrighty, guys. We'll see you in the community. I'll post this, and then everyone just post your video in the comments.
Everyone, you guys have to if I'm going to.
Okay,
Yes.
let's go.
Allez-vous.
Bye.
All right. Bye,
See ya.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.